proclamation, Braxton Winston is going to read it, partially because he comes from a lineage of strong firefighters as well. But I have to say that with the support and help from Battalion Chief Nance, I have some words to say about Pete Key. Pete, you have to stand up. You have to actually be recognized. And I know that you didn't want to. When someone leaves during the Christmas holidays, they really don't want to be recognized. But he's not getting away with that. Because really, in 2017, Pete Key was named the interim fire chief, the first African-American fire chief in the history of the Charlotte Fire Department. No offense, Chief Reggie, but Pete held us together at a time that we really needed that holding together. And he's done that his entire life. You know, we often talk about Charlotte and what's new about it, but Pete was Charlotte-born, grew up in the Brooklyn neighborhood, went to historic Second Ward High School, and then he graduated from Myers Park after schools were desegregated and the requirements were to actually have white and black children learn together. He came to us, his home, in 1977 when we had actually built 3 new fire stations. Imagine if we tried to do that now, Mr. Jones. 3 at one time. And it was the very first time that African Americans, more than one, was hired in a recruit class. You know, sometimes people don't know how tough things can be. But you and those other members that came and joined us, Hazel Irwin, David Taylor, Earl Adams, all of you came at a time when it probably wasn't easy to be a man of color or a woman of color in our department. And while we've got a long way to go, how far we've come, and you were essential to all of that change. You know, today we think about all of you guys, and we think about how successful you are, and that, you know, people have gone far and wide. But one of the things most important about Pete is, besides his golf game, is his faith, his upbringing, and his family. So tonight, just like Tom said, I want to recognize Cynthia. Please stand up. Cynthia Key, who had to do this. He's also joined by his daughter, and she brought along what they call a son-in-law, but I like to just call another son, Rhonda and Kevin. His son, are you called Pete Key Jr.? Please stand up. And he's got some beautiful granddaughters now. You know, we all have beautiful granddaughters, but I think Pete says his are the most beautiful. Zoe and Zaria, Gabby. And then on the row behind you, if you see all of those guys in the green jackets, they did not win the Masters in Augusta, but they won the Masters in Charlotte. Please stand up. They were great support people for Pete Key, the Men with a Purpose organization. So, Pete, this is about you tonight. And Braxton, I want you to come down. Cynthia, you should come down too, because no man does anything without a woman behind him. We know it. Yep. And if you come down, Braxton is going to read a very simple but heartfelt resolution in your honor. I'm sorry, Mr. Winston.
So, a City of Charlotte, North Carolina proclamation. Whereas Fire Chief Howard D. Pete Key joined the Charlotte Fire Department in 1977, at which time there was a mass hiring for 3 new fire stations. Up until this point, only 3 African Americans had been hired: Hazel Irwin, David Taylor, and Earl Adams. And whereas Chief Key was promoted to captain in 1984, to battalion chief in 1998, and to deputy fire chief in 2004. And whereas Chief Key is a family man, married to Cynthia for 44 years, and together they are proud parents of daughter Rhonda and son Howard Jr., and whereas Chief Key is a valued member of the Charlotte community, serving on the Urban Boy Scouts Committee. He is also a member of the United Way Crown Club and Black Men with a Purpose, is an avid supporter of the Arts and Science Council, and is a member of the Clanton Park Homeowners Association and the Queen City Optimist Club. And whereas Chief Key is the longest serving African American in Charlotte Fire Department history and the first African American to occupy the fire chiefs and operation chief positions in Charlotte Fire Department history. And whereas Chief Key retired from the Charlotte Fire Department on December 28, 2018, after 41 years of dedicated service. Now, therefore, I, Vi Alexander Lyles, Mayor of Charlotte, do hereby proclaim February 11, 2019 as Chief Pete Key Day in Charlotte and commend its observance to all citizens. Witness my hand and the official seal of the City of Charlotte. Thank you very much, Chief Key.
When people talk about service, I just can't be more proud of any organization, our employees, and what they do in this community and the difference they make. So thanks to